Welcome to the Grow Rich podcast by Tech Help Canada, where we share the best online marketing and general business tips. Now for today's host.
Note, this includes AI-generated narration. Let's talk about a number that should get your attention. In 2024, fewer than half of small businesses were using generative AI. By 2025, that number had crossed the majority line. In roughly a year, generative AI went from something many small businesses were curious about to something most are now using. And that shift changes the conversation entirely. The question now is where AI is working, how much value it's creating, and what small business owners should actually do with it. Today, we're going through 25 plus statistics on small business AI adoption by breaking them into 9 practical takeaways. We're not just rattling off numbers. For each section, we'll pull out the practical takeaway because a stat by itself doesn't help you make a decision. Whether you're already using AI or you're still figuring out where to start, this episode is going to help you see where you stand and which opportunities are worth testing first. Number 1, AI adoption has crossed the majority line. Let's start with a big picture. How many small businesses are actually using AI right now? According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 58% of small businesses now use generative AI. That's up from roughly 40% in 2024. That is a fast shift in a short window. And keep in mind, that figure only captures generative AI specifically. When you broaden the view, the Reimagine Main Street survey found that 76% of small businesses are either actively using AI or exploring it. In other words, the undecided group is getting smaller. Here's another strong signal. The U.S. Chamber's 2025 technology report found that 96% of small business owners plan to adopt emerging technologies, including AI. 96%. That level of interest suggests many of the remaining holdouts aren't anti-AI. They just haven't found the right first use case yet. So what does this mean for you? If you haven't started experimenting with AI, you're now in the minority among your peers. But here's the good news. Getting started is easier and cheaper than it used to be. The adoption numbers show AI is no longer just a tech company experiment. You don't need to transform your entire operation overnight. The goal is to get your first win with a single tool and build from there. Number 2, AI is no longer just a big company advantage. For years, that felt true. Enterprise firms had the budgets, the tech teams, and the infrastructure, while small businesses were still figuring out what ChatGPT was. But that gap is closing faster than the old narrative suggests. Before we compare these numbers too closely, one quick caveat. The studies we're pulling from don't all measure AI adoption the same way. Some count self-reported use or exploration, while others track narrower operational data. The specific numbers vary depending on who's asking and how they define it, but the direction of the trend is broadly consistent. Even with that caveat, the AI is only for big companies narrative is outdated. An SBA Office of Advocacy Analysis of Census Bureau data tells the story clearly. In early 2024, large businesses used AI at nearly double the rate of small businesses, about 11% versus 6%. By mid-2025, small businesses had climbed to nearly 9%, while large business adoption actually dipped slightly to around 10.5%. That gap went from nearly double to much narrower in 18 months. There's one useful wrinkle here that's worth calling out. Sole proprietors are much less likely to use AI than businesses with employees. Service Direct's Small Business AI report puts adoption at 47% for sole proprietors versus 85% for businesses with employees. Having even one other person on your team seems to make a significant difference, likely because it gives you someone to share the learning curve with and test ideas with. So if you're a solo operator, consider joining a small business community or a mastermind group where AI use is discussed. The data suggests solo operators may need more support around experimentation, tool choice, and confidence building than businesses with teams. Number 3, the cost barrier is lower than many business owners think. One of the biggest concerns you might have is that AI adoption requires a massive investment. The data tells a very different story. According to JP Morgan Chase's research on small business AI spending, the median monthly spend on AI tools is approximately $30. $30. That's less than many common business software subscriptions. The research also found that newer adopters tend to enter at price points between $20 and $30 per month, which means the barrier to entry is remarkably low. Once businesses start using AI, many tend to stick with it. The SBE Council, short for the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council, reports that 93% of small businesses using AI plan to continue investing in it over the next year. The scale of that reinvestment does vary by size, though. Service Direct found that 62% of businesses with more than 20 employees plan to spend over $5,000 on AI in the next 2 years, compared to 25% of businesses with 20 or fewer employees. The pattern is clear. Start small, test the value, then scale up. And this isn't just a US trend. For Canadian businesses, programs like BDC's $500 million AI program for SMEs show that AI adoption is becoming a financing and implementation priority, not just a software trend. The practical takeaway: you don't need to commit thousands up front. Many newer adopters start with a single tool at $20 to $30 per month and scale from there. Start with a free tier or trial. Use it on one specific task, and then expand if it earns its place. Businesses that see results often increase their investment over time, and that's a reasonable path for small teams too. Number 4, small businesses are starting with practical, everyday use cases. So where are they actually using AI first? Depending on the survey, marketing, content generation, customer engagement, and data analysis all show up near the top. Marketing and customer-facing work are common entry points. SBE Council identifies marketing and content creation as one of the leading small business AI use cases. Thrive's 2025 survey found that among current AI-using small businesses, 62% use AI for data analysis, 55% use it for content generation, and 46% use customer engagement tools like chatbots. Here's a useful benchmark. The typical small business in SBE Council survey now uses a median of 5 AI tools across its operations. 5 tools. That might sound high, but it adds up quickly. An AI-powered email platform, a website chatbot, a content tool, a scheduling assistant, and an AI-enhanced CRM would already put a business at 5. If you're not sure where to start, marketing is a sensible first place to look. Content creation, social media scheduling, and email campaigns are tasks that eat hours every week, produce measurable results, and are well suited to AI assistance. You don't need to rethink everything at once. Start with the function where you spend the most time on repetitive work. Number 5. The return often starts with time savings. This is where the numbers start to feel practical. For small business owners, time is often the scarcest resource, so the time savings data is where AI starts to become more than a buzzword. In Thrive's survey, 58% of small businesses using AI reported saving more than 20 hours per month. That's roughly 5 hours a week, which is nearly a full workday redirected to higher value tasks. And the savings aren't distributed evenly. Managers save an average of 7.2 hours per week, more than double the 3.4 hours individual contributors save. That makes sense when you consider how much of an owner's or manager's day is consumed by administrative coordination, communications, and decision support tasks that AI handles well. On the marketing side specifically, the time savings case is easy to see. Content generation, email drafts, campaign ideas, and customer messages are all repeatable work where AI can reduce manual effort. In one UK government Microsoft 365 Copilot trial, users reported saving an average of 26 minutes per day. That's over 2 hours a week just from AI-assisted document and admin work. The financial returns can be meaningful too. A Microsoft-sponsored IDC study found that companies were realizing an average return of $3.50 for every $1 invested in AI. And in that same Thrive survey, 66% of respondents said AI saves their business between $500 and $2,000 per month. Think about it this way. 20 hours a month isn't a marginal improvement. For a small business owner wearing 5 hats, it can meaningfully change the week. Calculate what your time is worth per hour, multiply it by 20, and that gives you a rough sense of the potential monthly value AI could deliver. Those savings may be especially noticeable if you're the owner or a manager, since AI can free up coordination and administrative time at the top. Number 6. AI adoption is showing up strongly among growing businesses. This is where the business case gets sharper. Salesforce found that 83% of growing SMBs have adopted AI. It also found that 78% of growing SMBs plan to increase their AI investment next year. Compare that with declining peers, where 55% plan to increase AI investment. Now, correlation isn't causation. It could be that healthier businesses simply have more resources to invest in new tools. But the pattern is strong enough to take seriously. The forward-looking numbers reinforce the trend. Goldman Sachs found that 74% of surveyed small business owners plan to grow their business in the next year. For some businesses, that can create a useful cycle: adopt AI, see results, reinvest, and build more capacity for growth. Self-reported numbers always need a little caution, but Salesforce's results from AI using small businesses are still striking. 91% say AI boosts their revenue. 87% say it helps them scale operations. And 86% report improved margins. Those are unusually high positive response rates for any business tool. If your business is in a growth phase, AI can help you scale without adding headcount at the same pace. And if your business has stalled, AI may be one operational lever that frees up time and resources. Either way, AI use is increasingly common among the businesses that report growth. That makes it hard to treat these tools as something to worry about later. Number 7, the biggest barrier is knowing where AI fits. Not every small business is on board yet, and the reasons are revealing. The issue usually isn't cost, it's clarity. Many owners don't know which tasks AI should handle or which tools are worth testing. 62% of non-adopters cite a lack of understanding about AI's benefits, and 60% say they lack the in-house resources to implement it. Even among businesses already using AI, challenges persist. 45% cite a lack of technical expertise, and 47% say it's difficult to choose the right tools from the overwhelming number of options available. The most striking stat in this category comes from the smallest businesses. 82% of SMBs with fewer than 5 employees say AI isn't applicable to their business. But that number drops sharply as business size increases, which suggests this is more of an education gap than a real applicability issue. Many of these micro businesses likely could benefit from AI. They just don't know where it would fit. Among current adopters, the top ongoing challenges are AI integration and usage at 72% and concerns about data and privacy at 70%. These are legitimate concerns that deserve thoughtful solutions, not dismissal. If you've been hesitant, you're not alone. But the data strongly suggests the barrier is knowledge, not applicability. The 82% of micro businesses saying AI isn't for me are likely underestimating what's possible. Most businesses have repetitive tasks that AI can help with. The first step doesn't have to be a massive investment. It starts with education. Understanding where AI fits, what it can safely handle, and which tool is worth testing first. Number 8, AI is changing work more than simply replacing it. Let's deal with the workforce concern directly, because when small business owners hear AI adoption, many immediately think job cuts. The numbers tell a more nuanced story. Among small business owners who use AI, 81% say it's augmenting their workforce, not replacing it. People are using AI to handle the tedious parts of their jobs, such as drafting first versions, sorting through data, and answering routine questions. That frees humans to focus on relationship building, creative problem solving, and strategic decisions. This next stat is broader than small business, but it adds useful labor market context. The World Economic Forum projects that AI will displace approximately 92 million jobs globally, but create roughly 170 million new ones for a net gain of 78 million positions. And hiring hasn't disappeared from the picture either. Approximately 974,000 recent graduates are expected to be hired during the 2026 hiring season, a slight increase from the previous year. So the better question may not be whether AI eliminates work, but how it changes the skills small businesses look for. AI skills are also becoming a competitive advantage in the job market. PwC's AI Jobs Barometer found that workers with advanced AI skills commanded a 56% wage premium compared with peers in similar roles. And a 2026 hiring experiment found that AI skills increased interview invitation probabilities and could partially or fully offset disadvantages tied to age or lower formal education in some roles. Rather than viewing AI as a threat to your team, treat it as a development opportunity. Encourage your employees to experiment with AI tools in their daily work. Many businesses getting value from AI aren't replacing people. They're upskilling them. An employee who can use AI effectively is better positioned to move faster, handle higher value work, and contribute more with the same hours. Investing in your team's AI literacy is an investment in retention too. Number 9, your industry changes how urgent this is. AI adoption varies dramatically depending on the sector. In OECD member country data for enterprises with 10 or more employees, the ICT sector leads at roughly 45%, followed by professional, scientific, and technical services at more than 25%. These knowledge-intensive industries were natural early adopters because their work, such as analysis, communication, and research, aligns closely with what current AI tools do best. At the other end, construction sits at 7.2% adoption, accommodation and food services at 7.8%, and transportation and storage at 9.2%. These labor-intensive sectors have been slower to find applications, though that's changing as AI tools expand beyond text-based tasks into scheduling, logistics, and project management. If you're in a high-adoption industry, AI is getting harder to ignore. Many competitors in your space may already be testing or using it, but if you're in a lower adoption industry like construction or hospitality, there's a genuine first-mover advantage waiting. When adoption in your sector is still in the single digits, even a basic implementation for scheduling, customer communication, or project estimates can put you ahead of much of the field. Here's where we land. Across these 9 takeaways, the story is straightforward. AI adoption among small businesses is already here, and the businesses using it are reporting measurable gains. The entry cost is low, the time savings are substantial, the connection with business growth is worth taking seriously. And the biggest barrier may also be the most fixable one, not knowing where to start. You don't need to become a tech company or hire a data scientist. The smartest starting point is still simple. Pick one repetitive task, test one tool, and measure whether it gives you time back, saves money, or helps you make better decisions. That's it. One task, one tool, one test. And there's a good chance you'll find at least one use case worth keeping. If you're listening to this and thinking, this makes sense, but I'm still not sure where AI actually fits in my business, that's the kind of problem we help small businesses solve at Tech Help Canada. We look at how your business currently works, identify where AI can save time or reduce repetitive work, and help you set up practical workflows your team can actually use. That might involve your website, your content process, customer support, email, admin tasks, or the internal work that keeps your business moving every day. So if you want help figuring out your first AI workflow or improving the systems you already have, you can learn more about our AI adoption services at Tech Help Canada. This was based on an article from our blog. You can find the full written article on Tech Help Canada, including sources and visuals. If you found this helpful, you can explore more on our website and subscribe or become a member for updates and perks. If you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or another platform, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us keep bringing you valuable content like this.